Welcome to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for rounds 3 and 4 of the 2024-25 ABB FIA Formula E World Championship. We're going to be hearing from some of the drivers in just a second, but first please welcome the three gentlemen in front of me. Team principals Tommaso Volpe from Nissan Formula E team on the right, with James Barclay from Jaguar TCS Racing in the middle, and Roger Griffiths, Andretti Formula E team principal on the left. We're going to start with you, Tommaso. After a tricky first round, you had some success last time out in Mexico. How are the team feeling about their chances of building on that success here with a double header in Saudi Arabia?
Well, I hope well. To be honest, the first race was very unfortunate. We had a little issue in the system, obviously, and it was very frustrating because we showed strong pace already in the first race. So it was very frustrating, but it didn't change our confidence that this season we can have good results. So we come also to this race obviously very confident, but we also know that we have the pit boost, which is a new thing to manage, and there is a big learning curve for everyone. So there is a big question mark who will start learning and finding new things, and also we know that this season many teams will be stronger manufacturers, and even teams and manufacturers that might seem not particularly strong at the beginning will recover for sure.
You obviously mentioned pit boost there. I know a lot of people are looking forward to finally seeing in action tomorrow. How much more strategy consideration do you have to factor in with pit boost now enabled in this first race?
Definitely is another layer, and it multiplies the possible scenarios that you have to manage. So obviously you need to, exactly the job I suppose everybody has done before coming here is to try to anticipate any kind of scenario that might happen during the race. But then reality always surprises engineers, so there might be new things happening and situations that might need an improvisation or a very fast time of reaction. So let's see. I'm sure that if either we end up with an ideal scenario which is the same for everyone, or we end up with a lot of actions and different performances on the track.
We've seen the new Gen 3 Evo car at two existing tracks that we've raced at before. Obviously, this is the first new track that we'll see the Gen 3 Evo car at. How well do you think this circuit will suit the package you have at the moment?
Well, this is a fast circuit. Well, Formula One is very fast, so it will be probably fast for us as well. So definitely it suits the fact that these cars are faster than last year with attack mode and the start. So yes, I guess we will experience again the big gap in performances between cars with attack mode and cars without it. I guess it will be very entertaining, both races. And then let's see how the drivers will enjoy it, because usually this makes a huge difference as well.
Grazie, Tommaso. We'll move on to you, James. Much like Tommaso, actually, a couple of very different races for the team in terms of success. How confident are you of a good points haul here in Saudi Arabia this weekend?
Yeah, firstly, it's great to be here and nice to be back in Saudi Arabia, a country which has been growing year on year that we've been coming, so really excited for the first time to be here in Jeddah as well. As you say, yeah, winning the opening race this season was a great start. We took a lot away from Mexico, which clearly, sometimes in sport you've got to take those learnings, and definitely we took a lot of motivation away from Mexico in terms of things we felt we could do. So yes, we're looking forward to putting ourselves back in a position to get some really strong points here. This year is really competitive, we're seeing that, and we always knew it would be. So yeah, we're just motivated by another race, another opportunity, and to put into practice what we've been working on since Mexico.
You've got a driver that's very much used to being in the mix, who's currently on 0 points after a couple of races, and I know the team, yourself and Nick Cassidy, wouldn't want to be in that situation. How do you manage Nick's mindset when he is in difficult moments like this?
I think it's difficult if you don't know why. In our case, it's very clear. Nick was in a position fighting for maybe even a win in Sao Paulo. He's fighting for the podium, so there's no lack of performance from the team or the car, which means we can't be competitive and he shouldn't be scoring points. Sometimes you have things outside of your control, a little bit in the case in Sao Paulo with that contact that damaged his steering that obviously ultimately took him and Pascal out of the race. And then, yeah, you have races like we had in Mexico where actually, you know, with the legality point, he would have been through to the qualifying dual stages and could have had a very different race. So we know the data, we know the core ingredients are there. It's just a case of staying consistent and staying confident that it will come, and for sure, I have no question it will come for Nick.
As I've asked Tommaso about Pit Boost, it feels like I should ask you as well. How are you approaching this new technology and this new moment for Formula E?
Yeah, like everyone else, preparing. If we're golf players, we're trying to hit as many golf balls as possible, and that's what we've been doing as a team. We've been looking at how this could play out in the race format and preparing ourselves for the race with the pit stop. And so it brings a whole other layer of strategy, and we already had a lot of strategy in Formula E. It definitely puts an even more greater emphasis on the strategists within the team. The drivers have a part to play as well. Even if you look at how tight the pit boxes are, where the cars have to stop, there's a lot of details to get right. So it just comes down to preparation. And there will be curveballs which will get thrown to us. Not everyone is going to, you can't expect everyone to have it all nailed. That's sport. It will throw up curveballs, and we will all learn, we'll all evolve, and we'll all get better at it. But it's going to be exciting. It's definitely going to throw a new element into the race, and I'm rest assured Roger and Tommaso and their teams as well as ours are looking at it, agonizing over what can we do, where can we get the advantage, and we'll find out on Friday. We'll learn a lot from that.
Hopefully a birdie rather than a bogey, to go back to your golf analogy
exactly
there.
Right.
Thank you, James. Roger, we'll move on to you. Obviously, you did push the factory team back in Mexico. Where do you feel you are in comparison to them? Are you on a par now?
Well, first off, you know, thank you once again to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for having us here. You know, after 7 years in racing in, 6 seasons racing in Diriyah, now here in Jeddah, and super excited to be here. I mean, where are we at? I think we like to think we punch above our weight. You know, obviously we haven't had quite the same access to the learnings around the Gen 3 Evo car as the factory team has had with their manufacturer testing program, but we're catching up fast. You know, a huge amount of effort has gone into our off-track preparation, particularly our understanding around simulators and how the car feels there. And great credit to Jack Crawford, our reserve and development driver, who's been putting in a lot of hours there. So, you know, are we quite there yet? No. Are we fast catching up? I think yes. So we've certainly seen a more competitive team in the opening 2 rounds than we had at, say, the tail end of season 10. So very pleased with the way that off-season development work has gone.
There were obviously good points for Jake Dennis last time out in Mexico, but also a good performance from Nico Muller as he adapts to the new team and the new car. How do you feel he's getting to grips with both of those things?
He's been developing super well. I mean, he's a very professional driver. It's something that we've seen immediately, really. You know, a driver that's been groomed by a manufacturer. We see the discipline in his approach, his work ethic. He's pushing Jake pretty hard. He's got Jake even more engaged than he already has been. You know, he's getting to know the team. He's a very friendly character. We're trying to give him an environment where he can grow with us as well. You know, not to put any barriers in his way. He's very keen to come to the factory to be working with the engineering group to get to know the mechanics better. So, you know, he's a great asset to the team. You know, he's learning the car as quickly as possible. He's had the opportunity not only to work with us, but as a factory Porsche driver, he's been exposed to their environment as well. So I think we're giving him as much opportunity as possible to get up to speed as quickly as possible.
And here is your designated pit boost question. I'm not going to ask you the same question here. How do you envisage the pit boost coming in will change your use of attack mode in this first race this weekend?
I mean, it's not a straightforward answer. I mean, I think we can all have the most ideal strategy in the world, but we know Formula E, it lives and is famed for the chaos. And we can, you know, look to use perhaps an early attack mode to try and break the convention to get out in front. It really depends on where we qualify as well. I mean, that plays a huge part of it. So I think we have to approach this very open-mindedly. As like I said, you know, you can have the perfect strategy, then something happens, puts you on the back foot. I think we could see some surprise, I won't say winners, but cars in the top 5, cars that wouldn't potentially normally be there just because of the way scenarios play out. What we have seen is attack mode is incredibly powerful now. I mean, you know, the combination of the high performance, the four-wheel drive, the new tyre, you know, it's made it really exciting to watch. And rather last year you were trying to get rid of it. Now you were excited about the anticipation of using it.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Roger. We've got time for some questions from the assembled media here. So if you'd like to ask a question, please raise your hand. I think I'm going to have to give you the mic.
Nick Golding from Racing News 365. Question for James. Ahead of Mexico, Nick was saying that Jaguar are a bit behind Porsche. If that is the case, if so, how's that happen and why? Or is that actually a bit of mind games on Nick's behalf?
Well, listen, we won the first race in Sao Paulo. It's fair to say, you look at the time sheets, you can see we're a little bit off on one lap pace, being really honest, and you can see that. We don't need to beat around the bush on that. But the reality is we still won the race with very strong race pace. Both cars were fighting for the podium. So we have got the inherent pace there, but you have to have everything absolutely right in Formula E if you're consistently going to fight for race wins. So you know, that kind of comment comes from a review that we all have, which is we need to kind of get everything to a point where we can execute all elements of the weekend really, really well. But we made that improvement in Mexico. We saw 3 of our 4 cars potentially going through the duels, but we had the issue on the illegality point. So from our perspective, coming into this year, we introduced an all-new powertrain and some new concepts with that. And we've taken a view that, you know, we have to run this car for 2 years. So it's a little bit like you have to play the long game as well. And if you look at our start to the start of this generation, we took a little bit of a while getting on top of our I-Type 6, and that went on to be, you know, the most successful Formula E car we've produced and won more races, more pole positions. And you know, we judge us by our season, is what I would say, not by the first of 2 races. So that's the way to look at it. And we think we've got some really good potential, but we need to work to get that out of the car. And this weekend will be another opportunity for us to test and learn. But I think we've got some really, really good progress since Mexico, and let's wait and see. Everyone is going to continually move forward. That's the point there. It's not a static target, but from our perspective, yeah, judge us by the season, not by a couple of races. And we've won one of those races.
Thank you very much. One question over here.
Yes, hello. Mr. Tommaso, what key improvements has Nissan made to challenge the top teams this season?
Sorry, I couldn't hear well. Sorry.
What key improvements has Nissan made to challenge the top teams this season?
What?
Okay. Sorry for that. Well, obviously, I think each manufacturer, I mean, on the car side, each manufacturer tried to push even more the level of efficiency of cars, I suppose, and to invest even more on software to make the vehicle dynamics better and the vehicle efficiency in general. So I guess this doesn't differ from any manufacturer. But we also invested a lot on the team side. We are, despite as license and as a root of the team, we have been in the sport since season 1. In reality, as Nissan Formula E team, we are a relatively young team. This is the 3rd season. And we have transformed the organization a lot in the last 3 years. So we tried to improve our operations on the racing team as well. So not just a big job on the car development, but also in the talents that we have in the team. And all these, it starts to pay us back in this season. So we know that everybody is pushing, so the competition will be harder and harder, but we also feel that we can consider ourselves a credible competitor in the sport now after 3 years of transformation, I would say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tommaso. Thank you very much for your questions. Do we have time for one more very quick question? Just here.
First of all, I'm Rawan Hamdan from Sharq al-Awsat newspaper, the Middle East. I welcome you guys to Saudi Arabia. Welcome back and welcome to Jeddah. You have been the first motorsport coming to Saudi Arabia, 2018. 6 years in the UNESCO World Heritage Site at Diriyah. I want to know, how was this 6 years to you in Diriyah, and how will be looking forward in the fastest circuit in the world? with the Gen 3 Evo, which is the fastest accelerating car in the whole motorsport. Thank you.
So happy to start. I think, firstly, as Roger said and as I said, it's been an absolute privilege to be coming here for the last 6 years to Diriyah. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia have kind of adopted Formula E early on, and Formula E likewise, committing to come here. And I think it's been a fantastic journey. It was an incredible race track in Diriyah. In fact, a lot of the drivers, it was one of their favorite of the calendar. So some of them are a little bit sad to be going away from that layout. It is a very challenging layout. It left no room for error, particularly in qualifying. But it produced some great races. So fantastic to be racing in Riyadh in that experience. Coming here to Jeddah, though, we're all really excited. This is an amazing facility. In a short space of time, is already quite an iconic track. And as you say, it brings a different challenge from a car point of view. But it's a beautiful location on the coast here, and I think it's another great step for the championship to be racing here. So yeah, pleased to be here, pleased to be continuing racing in Saudi Arabia, and it's been incredible to see how much the country is evolving since we've been coming here as well, and it's great that we're part of that journey with Saudi Arabia.
I mean, from the Andretti perspective, racing here in Saudi Arabia has been extremely kind to us. We won the very first race here in Saudi Arabia. Our relationship with BMW kicked off with a race win in Gen 2. We've sat on the pole. We've had additional race wins here with Alexander Sims, Jake Dennis last year. So we love coming to this place. We also have a lot of friends and partners here in Saudi Arabia, extremely kind to us, very welcoming, and that's generally what we found of this country as a whole. It's a country that's welcomed the Formula E community with open arms, and that's not always the reception that we've received in other locations around the world. So very happy to be coming here, and very happy that there's a long-term future for us, and that they enjoy our presence, and we love to be able to support. And as James says, I mean, we had the opportunity to do the first ever women's test here to celebrate the fact when women were given the opportunity to drive. So we've seen the progression in this country, and we're very supportive of continuing our relationship.